Hi there YouTube, latest update on the 3-point hitch project. I got some of these parts from the machinists finally fit up into the tractor itself. So I started with this upper rock shaft. So basically all I had to do was just kind of hit these bronze bushings with some sandpaper on the inside just to kind of tune that fit a little bit. But this thing just slid right in. It doesn't have a whole lot of chatter, and it's got a little bit of stiction, but it still rotates freely just by hand torque. So I think that's going to be just absolutely sweet. And once I run some grease up through here, pack them with grease, I think this thing's going to be like butter smooth. So when I did that, all I had to do was, before I slid it through the other hoop on the other side, I just slid 2 of these collars on the inside, and then on the outside I put 2 more. And the whole purpose of those is, once I get this offset established where I like it, I can just kind of scribe that, and then I know where I want to have this stuff set, because basically these are just going to hold it in the side-to-side direction to keep the shaft from walking to one side or the other. Because this does have kind of a critical offset on the left side where all the works are for the hydraulics. This is outboard just maybe like a 1/2 inch, where this side over here is maybe like if this was a symmetrical distance, this would be like the -1/2 and the other side would be the +1/2. So hopefully that makes sense. But all in all, it's pretty symmetrical. I mean, it's good enough for the girls I go with. Anyway, the next part after that was to start stacking up these linkage plates that basically are the mechanism for the hydraulic cylinder. I've got the first, I'll call it reaction plate on, then I put the linkage for the cylinder, and then I put the second reaction plate on, and I just stuck it in the mid position for now, because what I'm going to end up having to do is kind of clock all this stuff in place and hold it in space to establish the shaft position relative to where this guy is in a known location. So in this case, I've got it at full stroke. So having in the midpoint of adjustment, and then finally rocking these guys up to where I think the highest lift point needs to be in the full extended position will help me establish the range of motion I need. And then I can tack these off, pull the whole works out, and then finish weld the whole thing. So figuring out my height is going to be the next thing. So right now these are just kind of, this whole thing's just kind of loosely fit in here. My my lift link to my drag link here, what I've done is I took all the adjustment out of this guy, so I ran it all the way up so it represents my minimum amount of adjustment, and I've got it in the midpoint position. This is actually, I'm not sure that's actually a lift position. That's where you put your, this is where you put your sway chains, but there is a forward position which would give you just a little more height. Not a lot, you know, we're talking inches here. So that way what this does is, once I clock this up to the highest adjusted position, or the maximum range of motion, then I know that with the least amount of adjustment I have here, with, I would say, just the small margin of whatever pin position I'm using that link on, I can measure the pin height from the floor, and that would establish kind of the usable height lift capability I get out of my implement. Okay, so I'll work on that next. The other thing I got to do on the bottom end here, this is really simple, straightforward stuff. I just need to cinch off all these bolts, and basically these plates will just, they kind of sandwich up here. There's actually 2 layers to this bracket. There's a standoff on the back side of this, but then this other vertical, I'll call it vertical linkage for the hitch platform that goes back up to the tractor body. That's kind of sandwiched in between, so that whole thing just kind of smashes together. And then on each side there's 6 grade 8 bolts that just kind of pinch all that stuff up. So I got to cinch it up, and then you know, measure my offsets, get those symmetric, and then I can come in here and tack those off, pull the whole works out, take it back to the bench, and then finish weld it, and then slam it back in here. should be pretty easy. All in all, I'm very pleased with how this thing is turning out. I can't wait to get it finished and actually try it out. I mean, I just got this tractor running this weekend because I was waiting for my radiator to get done. So I've got that done. I'm able to actually drive it under its own power now, you know, save for the fact that I got to have the wheel off. But this thing's getting really close to being a usable, workable machine. As far as the hydraulics go, I'm just waiting on a couple of hoses to come in the mail. I gotta run two hoses that go back to the reservoir in order to get this thing hooked up and bled out. But all in all, I mean, you know, 2 hoses, couple minutes, put the filter back in this guy, and then fill it with oil, and then we're off to the races. All right, so more to come once I get this all finished up. Hopefully my next video will be this thing finished and possibly showing you how it operates and giving you kind of the end result here. Hope you guys like this. Like, subscribe, questions, comments, feel free to hit me up in the comments section if you ever want any details. If you're trying to do a project like this, if you want any details, please reach out, feel free to talk to me, and I can share with you what I've learned along the way. Thanks, bye.